Have you ever wondered how a mighty civilization can vanish almost overnight? The story of the Aztecs is one of the most dramatic examples in all of human history, a tale of glory, tragedy, and transformation that still echoes today. The Aztec Empire, a titan of the Americas, crumbled in just 2 years. In the blink of an eye, a society that had flourished for generations was swept away. For nearly 2 centuries, the Aztecs ruled Mesoamerica from their awe-inspiring capital, Tenochtitlan, a city larger than any in Europe at the time. Their armies were feared, their culture vibrant, and their influence stretched across mountains and valleys. Their merchants traded far and wide, connecting distant peoples and bringing exotic goods to the heart of the empire. And their temples touched the sky, monuments to gods and ancestors, symbols of power and faith. Yet in 1519, strangers from across the sea arrived, Spanish conquistadors led by Hernán Cortés. By 1521 the empire was gone, its capital reduced to ruins. How could such power dissolve so quickly? The answer is a tangled web of conquest, rebellion, and fate, woven together by both chance and design. The Spanish, led by Hernán Cortés, were few in number but joined by tens of thousands of indigenous allies eager to overthrow Aztec rule. Old rivalries and resentment fueled this alliance. This was not just an invasion, it was a civil war. A rebellion fueled by old grievances and the hope for a new order. The fall of the Aztecs is not a simple tale of heroes and villains, but a story of ambition, betrayal, and the invisible forces that shape history. Forces like disease, belief, and shifting alliances. Disease swept through the land, devastating communities and weakening resistance. Belief in omens and prophecies shaped decisions on both sides, and alliances, sometimes fragile, sometimes strong, shifted the balance of power at every turn. As we journey back, we'll explore the world the Aztecs built, meet Cortés, and witness the choices that changed history forever. We'll uncover the hidden forces, both human and environmental, that brought an empire to its knees and altered the course of time. This is not just an end of an empire, it's the birth of a new world, forged through conflict, loss, and unexpected encounters. The Aztec collapse reminds us, even the mightiest civilizations can be fragile, undone by forces they never saw coming. History is often written by the unexpected, by those who seize the moment or simply survive the storm. Let's unravel how a world can vanish in the blink of an eye, and what lessons its disappearance still holds for us today. To understand the fall, we must first see what was lost. The Aztec world was a tapestry of innovation, culture, and power, woven together over centuries. At the center stood Tenochtitlan, a city of canals and causeways, home to over 200,000 people, one of the largest cities on Earth. Its bustling markets and grand temples rivaled those of any city in the world at the time. Built on an island in Lake Texcoco, it was a marvel of engineering in the heart of Aztec power. The city's network of aqueducts and floating gardens sustained its people and showcased their ingenuity. The Aztecs, or Mexica, formed a triple alliance with Texcoco and Tlacopan, creating an empire built on tribute, not direct rule. Their influence stretched across the Valley of Mexico and beyond. Goods and wealth flowed into the city: feathers, jade, cacao, maize. Tribute from distant lands filled Tenochtitlan's storerooms, fueling its splendor and power. But this tribute system bred resentment among conquered peoples who waited for a chance to break free. Beneath the surface, old rivalries and grudges simmered. Aztec society was highly organized, with strict hierarchies and vibrant neighborhoods. Every citizen had a role, from farmers and artisans to priests and warriors. They were skilled astronomers, mathematicians, and artists, with a complex calendar and a form of hieroglyphic writing. Their knowledge of the stars guided both daily life and sacred rituals. Their world was rich in ceremony, color, and a deep connection to the cosmos. Festivals and rituals filled the city with music, dance, and devotion. Yet beneath the surface, anger simmered among the subjugated. Many longed for change, their hopes quietly growing. This tension would become critical when outsiders arrived. The arrival of the Spanish would ignite old tensions and set the stage for conflict. The Aztecs' achievements were immense, but their empire was built on fragile foundations. The city's beauty masked deep divisions and vulnerabilities. The world of Tenochtitlan was about to face an unimaginable transformation. Change was coming, swift and unstoppable. What seemed eternal was, in truth, precarious. The city's fate hung in the balance, its future uncertain. The stage was set for upheaval, and the heart of the Aztec world would never be the same. Into this world came Hernán Cortés, a man whose name would soon echo across continents and centuries. Cortés was a Spanish conquistador driven by ambition, risk, and a relentless hunger for greatness. In 1519, he landed on the Mexican coast with just 500 soldiers, a handful of cannons, and 13 horses. Hardly an army fit to challenge an empire, yet he was undeterred by the odds. Cortés was a master manipulator, burning his ships to show his men there was no turning back, forcing them to face the unknown with unwavering resolve. He sought not just gold, but glory, power, and a place in history that would outlast his lifetime. The Aztec Emperor Moctezuma II was cautious and deeply religious, ruling over a vast and complex empire. Prophecies spoke of a bearded god returning from the east. Was Cortés this god, or merely a harbinger of doom? Moctezuma hesitated, sending lavish gifts in hopes the strangers would leave, uncertain how to confront these mysterious visitors. Instead, the gold only fueled Spanish greed and determination, convincing them that even greater riches lay ahead. Cortés quickly saw the cracks in the empire. Many local peoples resented Aztec rule and longed for change. He realized he could turn these resentments into alliances, forging bonds with those who saw the Spanish as potential liberators. The Spanish would not fight alone. They would march with thousands of indigenous allies at their side. Cortés's insight to exploit division became the key to his strategy, allowing him to challenge the mighty Aztec Empire. Conquest would be as much about cunning politics and negotiation as it was about open warfare. The fate of the Aztec Empire would hinge on alliances, not just arms, as old enemies became uneasy partners. With every step, the march to Tenochtitlan gathered momentum, setting the stage for a clash that would change history forever. Cortés's journey inland was a campaign of alliance building. First, he won over the Totonacs, who were eager to escape Aztec tribute, but the real turning point came with the Tlaxcalans, fierce warriors who had resisted Aztec domination for decades. At first, the Tlaxcalans fought the Spaniards fiercely and nearly overwhelmingly, but Spanish steel, horses, and tactics stunned their foes. Realizing the Spaniards could be a weapon against the Aztecs, the Tlaxcalans made a bold choice. They allied with Cortés. This alliance transformed the Spanish invasion into a massive indigenous rebellion. The Tlaxcalans provided tens of thousands of warriors and vital intelligence. Without them, Cortés would have been crushed. The conquest was not just a Spanish triumph, it was a Tlaxcalan gamble. Old rivalries and desperation shaped the course of history. The cracks in the Aztec world had become patterns. The march of Tenochtitlan was now unstoppable. The fate of an empire rested on uneasy alliances. As armies clashed, a deadlier invader swept the land: smallpox. The peoples of the Americas had no immunity to old world diseases. When smallpox arrived in 1520, it spread faster than any army, devastating entire communities. The symptoms were horrific, and traditional medicines were powerless. In a single year, up to 40% of central Mexico's population died. Villages emptied, families vanished, and famine followed. The Aztec social fabric unraveled. Warriors and leaders fell, including the Emperor Cuitlahuac. The Spanish, with some immunity, watched as their enemies weakened. The psychological blow was immense. The Aztecs saw their people dying while the Spaniards remained largely unharmed. Many believed the Spanish gods were stronger. Smallpox shattered morale and resistance. The disease did more to conquer the Aztecs than any weapon. The fall of the empire cannot be understood without this invisible killer. The fate of civilization was sealed by a plague. The conquest was as much biological as it was military. The final act was a siege of unimaginable brutality. After entering Tenochtitlan peacefully, relations soured. Cortés took Moctezuma hostage, and a massacre ignited rebellion. The Spaniards were trapped and nearly annihilated during La Noche Triste, barely escaping with their lives. But Cortés regrouped, rebuilt his forces with Tlaxcalan help, and prepared for revenge. He ordered the construction of warships, carried piece by piece to Lake Texcoco. In 1521, the siege began. The city was surrounded, supplies cut off, and the lake patrolled by Spanish ships. For 3 months, the defenders, led by Cuauhtémoc, fought bravely amid starvation, thirst, and disease. The fighting was house to house, a slow, grinding battle. Finally, on August 13, 1521, the last defenders fell. Tenochtitlan, once magnificent, was reduced to ruins. The Aztec Empire was no more. The city's fall marked the end of an era and the birth of a new world. The siege was a suffering and transformation. The echoes of that destruction still shape Mexico today. The world had changed forever. To grasp the tragedy, we must glimpse the world that vanished. The Aztecs believed they lived in the age of the fifth sun, sustained by nourishing the gods, especially through human sacrifice. Religion shaped every aspect of life, from the great Templo Mayor to daily rituals. Most people were farmers, cultivating ingenious floating gardens called chinampas. Artisans, merchants, and scholars thrived in a structured, disciplined society. The Aztecs developed advanced calendars, a base 20-number system, and pictographic writing. Their civilization was a blend of beauty, order, and brutality. This complex world was about to be erased. The fall of Tenochtitlan shattered a world, but could not erase it. The Spanish built Mexico City atop Aztec ruins, but the legacy endures. Nahuatl, the Aztec language, is still spoken by over 1 million people. Words like chocolate and tomato come from Nahuatl. The Mexican flag bears the Aztec founding symbol. Aztec traditions live on in food, festivals, and art, blending with new influences. Archaeology continues to reveal the lost world beneath Mexico City. Every discovery is a find. The Aztecs may have fallen, but their story lives on. The past is never truly buried. The fall of the Aztecs was more than conquest, it was a collision of worlds. It raises questions about power, technology, belief, and the fragility of civilizations. The Spanish victory was not just about steel and horses, but alliances, disease, and psychology. The Aztecs' world vanished in an instant, reminding us that no society is invincible. Their story is a cautionary tale of ambition, loss, and the unpredictable turns of history. The echoes of that collision still shape the Americas today. When worlds collide, must one always be destroyed? The Aztecs haunt us because their story is, ultimately, our own.